Hello, everybody. Whoa, hold on. I've been watching football all day and I haven't really spoken to anybody, so hold on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Reserve Seating. We are doing the last episode of 2024. We are in the right in the middle of the holiday season.
Mhm. Merry
So
Christmas, Happy Hanukkah,
thank you. Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
holidays.
If you have anything to say to us out there before the end of 2024, this is your last chance.
We'd be remiss if we forget, for those of you out there who are purchasing an Accord or a Civic, happy Honda days. We are going to be talking about our most anticipated movies of 2025,
Yes.
but as is custom, before we can even think about 2025, we have to revisit our list of our most anticipated movies of 2024.
Because I know that if there's one thing, Adam, you want to talk about more, it's the movies of 2024.
I usually watch around 100 movies a year. This year I limited it to 65 because I
Okay.
was like, there's not a lot I want to watch. So,
You didn't miss a ton.
all right, Rob,
Yes.
your list of most anticipated for 2024
And just
was,
real quick, I don't mean to interrupt you. I asked everybody watching, I asked Adam not to tell me what those
yeah,
were because I wanted this to be genuine. All right, go ahead.
okay. All right. Love Lies Bleeding.
Worked out.
Yes. I would agree with that. Challengers.
Worked out. Not
Yep.
to the extent that I hoped, both of those, not to the extent that I hoped they would, but I would say generally they both worked out.
In the video, you labeled it as a thriller, which I thought was funny
That
because
ends
it's
up
like
being
maybe
kind of
the
funny.
trailer was cut that way. I don't remember, but yeah. And then I think it was the last one you mentioned, so I think it was your top pick for the year was Anna Kendrick's directorial debut, Woman of the Hour.
I mean, also worked out. I think I went three for three. I mean, I obviously I like all of those movies to lesser. I would say probably actually in descending order that you read them. I'd
Mhm.
probably say Love Lies is my favorite of those three. Challengers in
Yeah.
the middle, and then not for any other reason than just not being as interested in the story with Woman of the Hour. But I don't have any disasters. I don't think it's not like I picked like Argyle.
Well, I gotta mention your
Oh,
backup pick
oh yeah,
was
okay.
Dune Part 2, but that was on your list the previous year because it got delayed.
And
So
I would also thumbs that up. I know I'm probably the only person, but I would thumbs that up. So
yeah, you definitely win the medal
loving
for
Dune.
most anticipated of 2024 between the two of us.
All right,
My
cool.
choices were in third place was an Erica tie between Megalopolis, which I walked out of. And Rob, did you ever see Megalopolis?
I still have never seen it. They did not do a critic screening for us, and
Yeah.
I'm not paying $20 to rent it, so I'm waiting.
Oh, there's no screener or anything?
No, we didn't get. There's no mark. Lionsgate did not do a critics campaign, a awards campaign for it. So
Interesting.
I didn't even get press releases about it. I didn't get any offers for interviews or anything like that. Typically, all the awards stuff you get those emails about, and no screener for it. So I still on this 22nd of December of 2024, I still have not seen Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis. It's literally the last thing I want to see this year, and I haven't seen it yet.
Eventually I'll go back and watch the half that I walked out on, but I'm not paying $20
No, so
for,
I'm just gonna
for
wait.
that either. And it was tied with Kinds of Kindness, which will be in my top 10 list, so that worked out well.
Worked out good for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Maxine was my number two, which was the biggest disappointment of the year for me.
Yeah.
A movie with a third act so bad I'm convinced it was trolling.
That movie
Um,
has fans, and I understand that, and that's fine. I
That's
just
fine, but like I'm not one of them, and I
it
get to
wasn't for
gripe
me.
about it back.
It wasn't for me. Yeah.
It's a movie where I don't even consider the X series to be a trilogy anymore. I'm just like, oh, X is this standalone movie and Pearl's a standalone movie. That way I don't have to consider Maxine as part of the equation. And my number one choice was Horizon and American Saga Part One, which I'm a big fan of and will be on my top 10 list.
Worked out for you. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
the one. I'm in the period now where I've seen everything except Megalopolis,
Mhm.
and I'm going back and doing rewatches for my top 10 list, and that's the one I
Mhm.
keep clicking past and going like, not today, but soon.
And my backup picks were less successful.
Okay.
Bad Boys 4,
Mm,
Alien Romulus,
mm,
Terrifier 3,
mm.
Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, Roadhouse, Twisters, and The Idea of You. I make a
Fine.
unpublished worst of list.
Yeah.
Shared it with you, Rob. Idea
Yes.
of You was comfortably at number three
Comfortably. Oh yeah, for sure.
for
Yeah. What
worst
is
movie of the year.
All right, so my third most anticipated, roughly, is going to be Predator Badlands from Dan
Okay.
Trachtenberg. Really looking forward to that. Loved Prey. I like Trachtenberg generally. I really, really, I still, I didn't get to rewatch the whole thing, but I saw little bits of 10 Cloverfield Lane recently, and I said, like, I need to go back and rewatch that.
Yeah,
I was a
it
huge
holds
fan of
up.
that. I was a huge fan of that movie, and I just think he's got a really cool flavor of nerd. Like I love like I'm noticing, and I don't know that we'll talk about James Gunn. I don't think either of us will, but maybe we will later on. Where I think we talk about this sometimes, where it's like I understand that James Gunn is a nerd, but he's not my flavor of nerd really at
Hmm.
all. Like he's just a completely he's on the other like he's at the other D&D table. Trachtenberg is like my version of nerd. Like I like
Okay.
his particular flavor, so I'm really looking forward. I thought Prey was really cool, and I'm really really looking forward to the next Predator movie, which is not something I thought I'd ever say.
Did they announce any more of the cast other than Elle Fanning?
I know all I know is Elle Fanning said in the future. That's all I know.
My third pick, I have a Erica Ty
I'll go for it.
for the aforementioned Superman by James Gunn, which
Okay.
is a movie I really like James Gunn. I am becoming more of a Superman fan over the years. I like schlocky Superman the most,
Hmm.
like Superman 3 and Superman 4. The trailer for this didn't do much for me. I uh, got a lot of Superman Returns vibes from
Yeah,
it.
very much.
But I hope I'm proven wrong. It was the one that it was probably my number one before I saw the preview for it.
Okay.
But it bumped down a couple notches, and that's common with trailers. Like most trailers don't get me more excited, they get me less excited.
Yeah, I don't watch very many trailers anymore, and I will say whenever when we're talking the discourse this week about the Superman trailer, the Man of Steel trailer is still one of my favorite trailers. That trailer,
Hmm.
that initial Man of Steel trailer with
Yeah.
the Russell Crowe voiceover, I that gets me. And I hate that movie, but like that trailer still gets me. So I was hoping for something similar with this. Did not have quite the same reaction as most of the internet did, but
Yeah.
I think it's
Well, it's
because
also a teaser,
I think
so
I'm also not really a dog guy, so I think that's probably another thing that probably hurt.
I'm a dog guy, but that dog, because it's CGI, it looks like the dog that used to be on the cartons for like dog ice cream. And I tied it with F1,
Hmm.
which is a rare case of a trailer making me more excited for a movie.
Sure.
It's the new Joseph Kosinski movie who did Top Gun Maverick. Brad Pitt is in it as a Formula One racer. Kerry Condon's in it, but I don't know how they did it. They made We Will Rock You seem cool again because that set to the sound of a race car
Yeah.
is pretty great. What's your number two?
All right. Speaking laterally of Kaczynski through Tom Cruise, I mean, number two for me has to be Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I mean, it's not. I know the movie that they plan to make because of various issues, technical issues, and so on. And I know a lot of people were underwhelmed by the last one. I was not. The only thing about it that bothered me was its inherent lack of resolution because it's a two-parter. So if I do have a criticism, then definitely yes. I thought the addition of the new character at the expense of the old one, I'll leave that spoiler free for anybody who hasn't seen it yet,
Mhm.
feels calculated in a way that I understand. Like I understand what they're going for with that, I think. I love this series. I'm looking forward to seeing either it end or you know a passing of the torch, which is kind of what it seems like it might be,
Yeah.
or it might be both. I know it's dumb for me right now to bet against Tom Cruise. We all want to, I think, sometimes bet against them, but him and Macquarie together, I'm always gonna, they're always going to make something I'm interested in. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Well, because you said that, I should reveal I got a bump on my head, so my number two is The Mummy. No, I agree with everything you're saying. I was a Dead Reckoning fan.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the trailer for the new one. I also thought it was a little weird that it seems like their showcase stunt is just him hanging off of like a crop duster. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. It
yes.
seems like it's not the movie they wanted to make.
It
Yeah,
seems muted, like compared
concession.
to the other one. Yeah. My number two is Avatar: Fire and Ash.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not as excited about it as I was The Way of Water because there's not as long of a gap, and I kind of am starting to understand what an Avatar movie is.
Right.
But I like Avatar movies, and I want to see where it goes. And is it on an ash planet or like what new? It seems like a new planet is the thing. Like every, there was rainforest, then there was ocean, and now like what are we doing?
But
So I'm curious.
and then I guess, I mean, I have a bunch of honorable mentions that we'll talk about. I guess if I had to say right now, my most anticipated is got to be Maggie Gyllenhaal's Bride of Frankenstein movie.
Okay.
I really am looking forward to that. I love Jesse Buckley. I think Bale, from what I've seen, looks interesting in it. I didn't love The Lost Daughter, but I appreciated enough of what Gyllenhaal's doing in that, where I'm just excited to see her direct. I'm like just and I had a great experience with Nosferatu. I don't. By the time this airs and by the time the year closes out, I have a feeling it's going to be a very divisive movie. I'm already seeing a lot of the kind of backlash, but I hope people like that movie, and so
Mhm.
that's gotten me in the mood for. I know it's not a Universal monster, but it's enough of a Universal monster where I'm like, I'm kind of feeling like the wintertime spookies, and I know that comes out toward the end of the year, kind of I think in the Nosferatu slot, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious about that one too. I keep conflating it with the Guillermo del Toro
Yeah,
Frankenstein
that I'm not
movie.
as
Like
interested in,
I
but
can never remember who's in what cast,
yeah.
but yeah, no, I'm interested. And I'm interested in Nosferatu. I can't wait to see that one also.
I hope you like it.
And my number one, I saw a couple different titles for this, so I don't know which is which, but The Battle of Bacton Cross, which
Yes.
is the Paul Thomas Anderson movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, Regina King, Benicio del Toro, and Alana Haim. So I
Hey,
really loved Licorice Pizza. It got me back on board for Thomas Anderson after I was checked out because I'm not a Daniel Day-Lewis guy for a long time or really a Joaquin Phoenix guy. So there wasn't a whole lot for me for about four movies there. But I think it's like an action thriller and it's supposed to be like his most mainstream and big budget movie. And
sure.
DiCaprio, like I love that he just checks off to like the biggest directors that he has to work with like every one of them once and I'm glad that he's getting around to working with Paul Thomas Anderson because he was supposed to be in Boogie Nights
Yeah.
originally.
Honorable mentions
Yeah.
or
Yeah, what are your honorable mentions?
I'll throw a couple. Lee Winnell's Wolfman, which I'm seeing next week. So I don't
Oh
know
wow.
if that really
Okay.
counts, but that's a January. But I loved his Invisible Man with Elizabeth Moss. That
Mhm.
was I think on my top 10 that year or very
Yeah.
close to it. Soderbergh's got two this year, Presence and Black Bag.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sodi, I'll take it. I don't care, whatever. Let's see. Coogler and Michael B. Jordan have a movie called Sinners. Coogler, I want to see Coogler get back to what Coogler does.
Hmm.
I obviously we had a rough time with that last Black Panther movie, which was not really his fault. So I'm looking to see him get his swing back. I'm excited by that. Um, I Begonia, the Yorgos movie.
Yeah.
I'm now to the point where you tell me Yorgos Lanthimos is making a movie with Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. And I'm just like, cool, man. Like whatever,
Yeah.
because that's just
Hmm.
my bullshit, and I'll take it.
Hmm.
And I want to say I had a really interesting conversation with a student the other day about Bong Joon Ho, and he has that film Mikey 17 with Robert
Hmm.
Pattinson, and
Yeah.
my student who's a great cinephile was saying he's not as into his English language movies, Bongs, and I'm starting to kind of come around to that. So I guess I'm kind of not either. So I'm curious about that one because I'll just anything with Pattinson these days. I'm just like, yeah, sure, for whatever. He's my Batman. Um, but I'm interested in that. And
Okay.
and then lastly has got it. I mean, Edgar Wright is making a movie in 2025.
Hmm.
I've fallen very much off the Edgar Wright train, which is a shame because he was one of my favorite directors for the longest time.
Yeah.
But I just have not been a huge fan of his last two movies. He's remaking The Running Man with Glenn Powell. I mean, it's going to be Glenn Powell's next big movie star vehicle. I mean, I'm going to see it. I'm interested.
Yeah. I'm curious. Yeah. I had Begonia on my list.
Hmm.
Also, I had Karate Kid Legends on there just
Sure.
because even though, against maybe my better judgment, I like every Karate Kid movie, at
Hmm.
least to some degree, even the Jaden Smith and Hilary Swank ones.
Okay.
So I'm good with this. I put down on that note Mortal Kombat 2 because I know
Sure.
myself and I know that I will be excited on day one to see Mortal Kombat 2. I put down The Life of Chuck,
Hmm.
which is much hyped Mike Flanagan, Stephen King adaptation with Tom Hiddleston, supposed to be really good.
Sure.
And I've got a twofer here. It's sort of my heat combo.
Nice.
The Ritual, starring Al Pacino. It's a exorcism movie, so I want to see Al Pacino as an exorcist.
Hmm.
And I saw a poster that stopped me dead in my tracks last night for a Robert De Niro mafia movie where he plays two mobsters who are like at odds with one another, and it's directed by Barry Levinson. And the poster says it's from the hit makers of Goodfellas, The Irishman, and Bugsy, which is like it looks like Gotti to the extreme. So it's called Alto Nights and that or the Alto Nights, and that's coming out in March. I thought it was gonna be like a Lionsgate at best, but it's Warner Brothers. So I'm curious like how that happened.
I'm predicting that that'll be your 2025 lump of coal.
Probably, yeah. Oh, another one I mentioned on my 2024 most anticipated. Not sure if it was going to come out in
Okay.
2024, but I know for sure it's not going to come out in 2025, is Quentin Tarantino's The Movie Critic. So tell us in the comments what your most anticipated movies are and
Please.
why. We would love to we scoured the internet to try to cover everything, but I'm sure we missed some stuff. And next week we're going to be back with an annual episode celebrating when movie theaters would do a sneak preview for a movie and then invite you to stay for a hit movie afterwards. So we are going to be doing a sneak and stay of That Thing You Do, followed by Independence Day.
A masterful double feature. I can't wait.
20th Century Fox did it again. So until next time.
Until next time, everyone have a safe and happy new year.
Yeah, couldn't have said any better myself.